Hello everybody, welcome back to Living with Asperger's. I know I haven't been posting videos for a while, but the reason why is because I have a very weird thing that I do, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Some days I just don't feel like recording a video, or there's so much stuff going on that I cannot record a video. And I think it's just because I procrastinate a little bit too much, but, you know, it's very difficult for me to not procrastinate because I've been doing that for most of my life. But today is a pretty important day in American history because yesterday was the inauguration of President Donald Trump, and now there are literally hundreds of thousands of people going around the nation protesting him. And, you know, a lot of people say that democracy is just accepting what is there. That's not democracy. That's never been democracy. Democracy is stating your opinion, and if there is enough of an opinion, do whatever you can to get your word out there. And I am happy that Americans are practicing their right to protest. So anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. Today I wanted to talk again about misdiagnosis, and specifically the misdiagnosis for Asperger's syndrome when somebody is diagnosed with it, but they don't actually have it. And that sounds crazy, but there's actually a lot of disorders that could easily be mistaken for autism. And most of these disorders are caused by surgeries or other things like that. So one of the big ones is corpus callosum syndrome, or having your corpus callosum had surgery on, and it just makes you behave a little bit differently than normal. This can easily be mistaken as autism. It doesn't necessarily mean the person has autism, but they have a lot of the symptoms of autism, but they don't actually have it. Okay, I know what I just said doesn't make any sense at all, but it's important to recognize that just because somebody has the symptoms doesn't mean they actually have it. And it's very complicated. There's a lot of genetics and other things out there. But there's another disorder that shares a lot of symptoms that a lot of people actually have when they have autism, and they don't even know it because their psychologists easily mistake it. Borderline personality disorder. Specifically, being obsessed with stuff. And once again, this is one of the biggest symptoms of having Asperger's syndrome. The reason why borderline personality disorder exists is either because of abuse or just certain psychological conditions. The environment might be a little bit off. And I don't know anyone personally who has it. Leave your comment down there if you have it and call me out if I say anything wrong. But one of the biggest symptoms of borderline personality disorder is spending money on things that you don't need simply because you feel like you need it even though you don't. And this could easily be mistaken for autism. Now, the weird thing about this is that a lot of people on YouTube have been commenting and saying that this disorder is not only being diagnosed for people who have autism, but it's happening the other way around. People with borderline personality disorder also have it. But the even weirder thing is that it's mostly happening to women. Now, this is very unusual. Usually when a psychological disorder comes up, there is a little bit of a disparity. Like, say for schizophrenia, women are more likely to get it when they're 30 or 40, but men are more likely to get it when they're 20 or 30. Borderline personality disorder is very odd though, because it doesn't really have any gender picking, if that makes any sense. Anyone can have borderline personality disorder, and they don't even need to have a specific gender for it or anything. It affects everybody equally. But for people with autism that are diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, or the other way around, are mostly women. And this rarely ever happens in psychology, and scientists still don't know why this happens. But it is seriously affecting people's lives. Now, I'm pretty sure it isn't their fault, and I understand that, but this is seriously having an effect on people's lives. Imagine growing up thinking you had borderline personality disorder only to figure out that you had an entirely different disorder when you're 18 or 20, when it's already been ingrained in your head that you have something completely different. This, it has happened to people in the past. It's probably going to happen in the future. And unfortunately, we just have to deal with it because we still don't understand entirely what autism is. As I have stated in many of my videos in the past, autism is an entire spectrum of different symptoms and weird things that we do differently from other people. We behave differently, we think differently, and no scientist can't pick out any single genetic thing that would trigger autism. They think it's a little bit of the environment and genetics, but they're not entirely sure. This is why autism is so difficult to diagnose in the first place, because no one really knows what is out there. There are a few core symptoms, but those core symptoms are shared with a bunch of other disorders as well. So someone with autism could be accidentally diagnosed with OCD simply because they are overly obsessed with math and counting. And unfortunately, this happens almost every single day, and no one knows that, which is really sad, because people need to understand better what autism is in order to do other things, and make it more well-known. So, once again, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like and the subscribe button. It is very much appreciated, and I will see all you guys in my next video. Peace.